first thoughts on Bangalore, Sumesh.
I'll take Dan. Take this one.
Thanks, Sumesh. Yeah, look, they have qualified in consistently, as you say, they're correct. However, the last 2 years, I think they've actually qualified with a negative net boundary percentage on both seasons, which is actually probably a mark of a bit of luck and some fine margins coming their way. Certainly, that's very unusual, and I would debate whether that was a sustainable strategy or dynamic going forward. I look at them now as a rather differently structured team to Punjab. Maybe, as you say, in the past that was quite true, but I think that certainly last season Punjab were looking to structure up much more high intent than this Bangalore team, who I think could, if Maxwell doesn't perform well and or is a bit rusty after his injury, you're wondering where the high intent innings are going to come from. Really, it looks a little bit very one dimensional and pedestrian a bit at the top, unless Faf du Plessis carries on his high intent that we saw in South Africa and a bit over the winter generally. But how much of that was forced? Because Reza Hendricks, who was his opening partner in South Africa, was striking about 80 for the whole tournament. It was consistently chewing up a ton of balls. So he kind of maybe had no option but to do that. For me, there's question marks. We now understand that Rajat Patidar is also going to be absent for at least the first half of the tournament. I think maybe does Hasaranga miss some games as well? And if so, that's a big problem because there's no one who is like for like to replace him at all, and no one, not only like for like, but anywhere close to the same quality as him. So these are problems that they're going to have to overcome, and a bit like Punjab that we just discussed. I do feel that they're going to have to start the season well if they're going to have a chance of coming in the top four again.
Okay.
I think Rajat Patidar has joined the team. Not sure if he'd be fit to play because he's joined the team. Bangalore posted about him joining the team.
Yeah, but he's most likely out for more than half of the season. Now I'm just looking. I'm still wondering how did they make it to the top four last season? Because this team had the lowest boundaries per innings record against pace, and we are talking of a side who has a lot of players who struggle against spin. We know Virat Kohli would rather face pace over spin. So will Faf du Plessis. So would Dinesh Karthik.
So would Dinesh Karthik.
And still, this team had the lowest boundary per innings against pace. No marks for guessing that they had one of the lowest boundary percentage against spin as well. They experiment with Shehbaz Ahmed somewhere in the middle order, but his numbers against pace were cheese as compared to his numbers against spin. They were chalk. So I don't think in the auction they have done enough to counter that. So again, like Dan said, I don't know where the high intent innings is going to come from. A couple of clutch knocks from Rajat Patidar towards the very end helped them actually qualify. They were down, they were out. Even Rajat Patidar was not the part of their squad. They got lucky because Navneet Sisodia got injured and Rajat Patidar was included as a last-minute injury replacement. But now he's not there. Maxwell has made a statement a couple of days ago that it will take months for him to be 100% fit. So there are question marks about, will he be able to sustain the pressure of 14 straight games? So, like with Punjab, I'm not sure where the runs against spin are going to come from, and the way in which Faf and Virat batted last season, if they continue to bat that way, I'm not sure where the runs against pace are going to come from. So essentially, where are the runs going to come from?
I do feel that why they probably did not look to tamper with the opening batting or the top three is because of Faf's numbers against spin. Because when we were discussing about Bangalore last time around, we did talk about how Faf and Kohli opening together, or even Kohli coming down at 3 and them batting together isn't ideal because both of them could be choked with away going spin, which is left arm spin or leg spin. But if we look at Faf's numbers post the IPL, we look at the CPL or the other competitions, he's actually really done well. I think he's averaging over 40 and a strike rate of 145, 140 plus against spin and against left arm spin in the CPL, or probably till the end of 2022, he was averaging 86 with a strike rate of some 180, 170, 180 plus. So he's actually doing much better against spin than what many had thought, and he had a very good 100 in the SA20 as well. So I think what is going to come down to is that they'll have, maybe Faf might be given the role of attacking spin. Virat will probably be given the role of staying till the end. And Virat has become better, I think, since the last tournament. I don't think that both Virat and Siraj will have the kind of poor tournaments that they had last time. Siraj's tournament was a very peculiar one. Again, he conceded probably the more than 36s, which I think is at least the second highest or highest, might have been second highest because I think Hasranga was also hit for a lot of sixes. But at the same time, Siraj had a dot ball percentage of 40%. So I think Siraj will have a very good season because of how he's been bowling in one days as well. I expect him to probably carry that bowling lineup. And yeah, I'm not so sure if Dinesh Karthik can replicate what he did in the last season. And again, I'm not really sure who are they going to who's the Indian batter that they're going to play or start off with. Will it be Anuj Rawat, or will it be someone like Mahipal Lomror? I'm not so sure because I don't think that Anuj Rawat should be in the first 11. It should be Mahipal Lomror for me. But yeah, Mahipal Lomror also hasn't been able to set the stage on fire in the tournament. So there are some few gaping holes. Uh, but yeah, I do expect Siraj and Kohli to perform better than what they did in the last tournaments.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, sort of carrying forward what Gurkirat said, that definitely Virat is in a better form than what he was this time around last year. So that is a big plus for them. There is no chance someone can have as bad a season as Siraj had twice in a row. His numbers in power play were poor, and that reflected on Bangalore's overall numbers. His numbers at the death were even worse. So definitely, it won't be as bad as this. But looking at it from the auction lens, Dan, do you think they did enough to resolve the gaps that they had last season?
No, not really. No, that's a big issue for me. We talk about you talked about Kohli and Siraj being very likely to have better seasons, but I think you could also make the reverse argument for Dinesh Karthik, who certainly performed so far above expectation last season that it would be a real shock if he didn't mean revert this season to more of a normal level, if that makes sense. So there's a counter argument, I think, to that. With regards to the auction, look, now Patadar is injured as well. Is there going to be a case where they're going to have to play Lomror and another domestic batter, Anuj Rawat or Suyash Pravidesai, someone like that? And I look at them and I think they're quite limited in terms of their attacking intent. And I mean, I was really surprised actually in 2022 at the auction how much they paid for Anuj Rawat. I didn't see him going for the money that he did at all. And I just think that they're all quite similar, pedestrian, one-dimensional players who we talk about where's the highest strike rate innings going to come from, and I don't really see it. So look, let's. For me, though, I would have looked to pick up maybe a high intent local batter. Would have been really on my shopping list. At least one, if not two. And they've got a few pace options from the domestic market. Akash Deep or Siddharth Kaul or Rajan Kumar, who's started really strong work for Uttarakhand as well in lower level tournaments. So they've got some pace backup, but I just don't really see the high intent batting backup. That for me is a bit of a red flag for this team. And also, The other thing is, how do they replace Josh Hazlewood, who looks like he's going to miss the start of the tournament as well, and Hasaranga? So no like for like the Hasaranga, like I said before, both in terms of skill set and quality. Hazlewood, that looks like Topley or David Willey. I think Topley is the better bowler, but Willey adds more, obviously, with the bat, and it helps with the batting depth as well. And a left-hander who can bat higher up the order and try and create some left-right combos if the situation dictated. So certainly a lot of question marks for me regarding what lineup they're going to field for these first few games of the season, and I think that the auction strategy probably didn't help them with that.